should, if everything's working out, we should be live. So,
Hi, everybody.
hi, hello, hello, hello. And
Hi.
haven't we had some interesting news the past few days? The day before, we say, oh, maybe trailer coming in the next few weeks. Then the day later, it looks like Amazon's marketing has somehow started to begin. Isn't that, at least that's one of the better things, isn't it? We're finally starting to see stuff.
Finally, it's been ages. I
Yes.
always say that, but this show has been announced back in 2017. We've been waiting for such a long
Oh,
time. It's been like a month or even 2 months at this point since we last got any images before this latest drop. So it's really really cool now to this week and last week finally to start seeing something happen.
yes.
Mm-hmm. And believe that I think today for everyone watching, we're going to be going backwards. So starting from today, then going back up.
Mm,
So I think the first thing we actually have to start off with is we have, which is going to be put on screen now. It is so we get. Let's bear with me. As you can tell, Kyle's not here today, so I'm going to have to be
You're the
doing.
you're the apprentice wizard.
I am the apprentice. Let's check if it's
Wizard's
this one.
Apprentice.
Yeah.
So yes, this is where it is. This is the one we need. So we got this pretty big, isn't it? Final shot will be,
Yeah,
and they already have
Well,
all five planned out.
yeah. Bear with me.
Do you think?
I believe this is a tower. Am I right?
what a preposterous statement. Oh my gosh, how
Yeah,
can you
yeah,
say
I know.
something
It's
so
it.
wild, crazy?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I know.
do believe you might be onto something here, Hen.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
so yeah, so this looks like a tower. It certainly, to me, it looks elven made. What do you guys
Mm,
think?
I think so, which is peculiar because Fellowship was saying this is from Tir Harad, the
Mm-hmm.
village in presumably Harad or
Mm-hmm.
wherever this is. So yeah, the presence of an elven tower, kind of weird, but okay.
But then again, if I'm not mistaken, the word tier in and of itself means watch
Oh
in
yeah.
Quenya, which would imply that this might be a place established by the elves at any
Oh
rate.
yeah,
So,
sure. I didn't think of that. Yeah, yeah.
mm,
Also, yeah, sure,
um,
sure.
but yeah, it's certainly interesting. One of the things that I think many of us first thought of when we saw the image, which I cannot see at the moment anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
But I'm thinking we'll get back to it. There we
Oh,
go.
there it is.
One of the things that many people came to remark upon is that the mountains to the right they do resemble the mountains surrounding Mordor. So in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, those mountains were the Remarkables near Queenstown in South Island of New Zealand, and I do think that we might be looking at the same mountains here on the right. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's obviously, I'm presuming it's not a real, like, it's a composite
Yeah,
landscape sort of
of
thing.
course,
Yeah.
as it was in the films as well.
Many,
Um,
yeah, many of the shots, yeah.
yeah, yeah, like the shots surrounding Mordor were composite basing on the Remarkables.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
one thing that came to my mind immediately with the little river and everything is that this really reminds me of the Minas Morgul Vale. Um, so
Yeah.
if that were to be the case, we would have this tower being positioned in a place where later on Minas Ithil will be built, and of course that's gonna turn into Minas Morgul as time goes by. But that was one of my initial thoughts.
I thought about that too. I was thinking because this idea of it being somewhere really kind of like the joke that I've seen run
Mhm.
on Reddit and stuff is that this is the before door. The you know, the kind of proto Mordor or proto outskirts of Mordor. And
Yeah.
so, if that is the case, then yeah, this could be a before Minas Ithil, or worse still, before Barad-dûr. I don't think it
Hmm.
is, but you know,
Hmm.
yeah, sure. But the mountains do look very Mordorish in either case.
Oops,
Hmm.
I've realized I've been muted the entire time. So
Yeah, I was wondering about
yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Yes, I think people are saying it. This is big shoes to fill. Um, yeah, because of course Kyle isn't here today. Normally does all this stuff, so props to him. But I think what we revealed straight after, people started wondering where is this place, and I think Lakita, do you want to share what you thought this might have been?
We kind of actually already chatted
Yeah.
about it with Hen.
Oh,
Uh,
oh
don't
sorry, my
worry.
bad.
I just want to address something that somebody said in the chat. That was Philip Dawes. Wonder how they get to the top of that. So I think there's like a little mechanism here on the right,
I
like
saw it
on the
too,
right
yeah.
side. So I think there might be like some, perhaps some lifts, or more likely a stairway somewhere.
I think
Um,
if you zoom right next to Arondir, there
Okay,
is something that looks like the opening to a stairway. You know, like,
I
but
will.
also to be fair, in Orthanc, we never really see how they get on top of that either.
mhm. Yeah,
Like,
but
you
that's
can't.
something that bothered a
Yeah.
lot of people.
There is supposed to be an entrance in one of those fins, but we
So
just don't
let's
see
zoom
it.
in a bit.
But
Mhm.
there is.
So this is really so. First of all, this is Ismail Cruz Cordova Azaronde, and this is a post slash watchtower in Terharad. And it's from what we've heard, is this actually part of a massive fort thing, castle like things? Because when we first
Oh,
had
cool.
leaks and rumors around about this castle, I think not Humphrey's castle, it was Humphrey's village, but it was a different, there was this castle set. People are saying, they're telling us about this. So I believe
Mhm.
this structure is, if of course you see the bottom here, we can't go lower, but I think this is a massive fort which Bronwyn et al live in. So yeah, that is why.
Mhm.
Like this is 100%. This is basically in Harad. It's, well, according to Amazon, it's the village Tir Harad, and yeah, this is Ismail Cruz Cordova as around here. But where do you guys
I
want me to zoom in?
I just want to point out that Harat, if I'm not mistaken, which I maybe am, and the people in the chat are sure to point it out very soon, but I believe that Harad also means south,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
right?
That
So
south.
this
Yeah,
isn't necessarily in Harad anyway, but just somewhere
south.
the southern
south
end of
of
a
Mordor.
realm or something, not necessarily south of
It's
Mordor, but just to the
yes.
south of something. Like, you know, you can have a village called South in Scotland. So
Yeah.
it
To
just
some extent.
marks a southern end of something, I believe, or a passage to Harad, of course, but we don't know for sure whether Harad has already been named in this era. I
Wait,
think.
Yeah.
was it in the map?
The
Was it in the map?
cartography is different though. Yeah, sure, but the map is, it's one of those cases where, is the map diegetic, which is to say, does the map reflect the way that the people inside the story see the cartography? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I get what Lakidia is saying, which is that what is south to the people of the third age is not necessarily what is south to the people of the second. You get my
Mm-hmm.
point?
Steve Sadler pointed out in the chat, talk about getting your steps in for the day. Yeah, indeed. I wouldn't want to climb up here. I mean, it's your morning cardio, I suppose, but
Yeah.
yeah, I
Let's search.
You
I've zoomed
know,
in on the structure here. Let's see.
mhm.
Where is? So it looks like people have been mentioning ropes. Oh, that's on
Yeah,
that side.
to the right.
Yeah,
yeah,
to the
but I
right and to
also
the left
think,
as well.
Okay.
yeah, there
Hmm.
are, but I also think there is something right next to Orondir which could be interpreted
Left
as
or
the
right?
entrance. Right. There is
To the
something that
right.
looks
Okay.
like the entrance to a stairway or something.
So you're saying around here, maybe?
Yeah,
Hmm.
sure.
Oh, I see
Ooh.
like a hatch on the floor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a hatch. That's the word. Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
so
there we
we're going
go.
from the inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Very interesting. It's not really that interesting,
Well,
I'm joking, but it's interesting.
it's a bit
I
safer than climbing like all
Yeah.
yeah.
around the tower.
Yeah, although
Yeah.
Arondir has been doing crazy, I mean, acrobatic stuff in the teaser, so no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
And
I'm fine with. Uh,
which it's interesting to note. Will we going into this show see Aronde, who is in this post image, we'll be seeing him while he's captured by orcs. Will we see him? This is like when we see him first, and then he goes and gets himself captured.
I we were expanding on it a few weeks ago. I remember that I like had this little like theory, this little story, which is Arondir gets captured by orcs,
Mhm.
which is what gets him to this part of the country. And this is presumably a little bit later, which is Arondir runs out of orc camp, which we see in the trailer,
Mhm.
Hmm.
or some allusion to that, more like runs into Bronwyn. Actually, the way that the teaser shows it, probably runs into Theo, saves him from orcs,
Yeah,
runs into Bronwyn. They start bumping uglies, and the result is him finding this tower and standing on it and looking very,
I believe. Yeah, again, I believe this tower is part of a much larger fort. It's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah,
attachment to it.
yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
so
assuming the
maybe
I'm assuming the fort itself would therefore be like perched on mountains because this is
yeah,
pretty
definitely yeah.
high up. Uh,
And people are liking your theory, Hen, which is good. And I think again about the practicality. I don't think I think Percy, but also from what we've heard, I don't think this is just a random tower plonked in the
yeah,
middle of nowhere. 95% I believe this is attached to a much structure which Carl goes around and is basically Tir Harad effectively.
my first reaction when I saw this, and I kind of dozed off just before seeing it, was that it's a little bit high fantasy, but I think maybe I was a little bit harsh because, like high towers in Middle Earth. I mean, Barad-dûr, Isengard, like Orthanc, like. So yeah, I think it's the fact that it is super tall
Hmm.
and stuff, and you can look at it and say, yeah, it's not necessarily the most practical thing to climb up on and stuff. I mean, yeah, sure,
Unless you go through the middle.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but still, but I mean, sure, you can say that on Orthanc
Mhm.
too. Like, I think at some point we have to cut them some slack for the. It's still it's. We may hope, even as much as you historicize fantasy, it's still fantasy, And
Mhm.
part of the enjoyment of fantasy is scale and large towers.
I have two other comments that I wanted to make. First of all, I do believe that this it's a really idealized shot. This sort of beautiful panoramic with beautiful backlit sunshine coming in and everything. It
Yeah.
it does seem very very idyllic, and to me that doesn't sound like a mid-season or late season shot. To me, this sounds like something where we first
I
encounter
get your point. Yeah,
deer.
Someone's asking. Oh, sorry.
I get
Continue.
your point. Yeah,
No.
didn't think of that.
Hmm. Someone's Steve said in chat, can we see the base? It might be perched on a hill. Say, and that is what I think. I don't think it's even on the hill. I think why it looks quite high in the air is because it's actually connected to a building below it, which is actually in fact the entire castle fort, Hotel Harad. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking for. And this is just basically the watchtower, which all castles have. And I think people tried mention found out before was that if you actually zoom in here, is
Mhm.
this farming lands or something?
Yes.
to some extent. Yeah, that's we talked about it being a composite shot. It's a composite of New Zealand landscape, and New Zealand does have like farms and stuff. For the movies, they went more for a kind of wilderness look, so they tried to avoid anywhere that looked too cultivated. But it's nice to see.
I think this strongly implies that a community is living here,
Mm,
either just below the tower or somewhere close by. But given that Bronwyn is supposed to live in Tirharat, I would say that the village is really nearby.
yeah.
And the other thing that I wanted to point out was actually that this image is very similar in terms of just the color palette and the lightning and everything to the Tyrion peak. So we both of these are
Mm,
like um, uh, yeah, quite contrasty but very warm backlit
yeah.
images. To me, I really don't like that. Um, it makes me tired just looking at it, the same as with the Tyrion picture. And I really do hope that they're not going to be using a lot of that technique in the show itself. So it looks beautiful, but to me it's, I don't know, in real life it would make you super tired to be looking towards the source of light like this, towards the sun. So I kind of hope that that's not something that we can take away from this, that this is going to be uh, what the show is actually going to look like. So I hope these
No.
are just, one off, or in this case two off. But
It's in a cinematic aspect ratio, right? This one too. The
I think
Tyrion
so.
one certainly was.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I think even from all the other ones we've seen, I think this is probably just for the marketing show, how beautiful it looks. And I think once we go do see footage at some point, I'm sure I even saw from the trailer. I think it will be. But I do understand. Yeah, just it is quite in your face. And I think one final thing that I do want to mention is these mountains. Again, I know we talked about it earlier, but do you guys think we are maybe right outside the realm of Mordor? Do you think?
Yeah, we were talking about this when you were muted.
Yeah,
That yeah, those look like the mountains of Mordor, and either
Hmm.
we're outside or we're in before door, as people
before the
as the people on
Trademark, and
yeah, it's the
or
next
people on
Meteor
Reddit.
Man,
Yeah.
everybody.
yeah,
Uh,
we've done the next Meteor Man there.
yeah,
So
it's on Reddit.
um,
I read it on Reddit. It's funny. So yeah.
but I think moving on now for the time being, um, we have the next thing.
Oh, good.
We have Mr. Sadok
Oh,
Burrows,
good. Less good.
who
Uh,
we
No.
we are the traditional Tolkien guy, little guy. So let's go down here a bit.
so that's
So we
what.
found out that
Yeah.
also before I don't want to
Yeah, yeah. You
does
do.
anyone
Yeah.
want to try pronounce? I think the Jaya Sundara and Sarah. Those two are the ones
I
who are
think
also
Tusitha is
in.
her first name.
Yeah.
You always seem to
Tusita.
Yeah,
mix the two.
Tasita.
Yeah, I think Tusitha is
Jayasundara.
her
Yeah.
first
Also.
name.
Yeah, so Tasita and Sarah. So those two are the also ones. As we go back up here, they are the ones
Yes.
in this shot. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in a second we will go on to the portrayal of Harfits. But let's firstly see what Mr. Sir Lenny Henry said. Traditionally, the little people in this world provide comedy but also get to be incredibly brave. You're going to see us run the full gamut of emotions and actions in this adventure. And now, what I will do is what we will have on screen is a nice little. Um, this is really fun doing all
Yeah,
this.
you're doing great,
Um,
by the way. I wanted to say I'm
thank you,
impressed. Much
thank you,
better
thank
than
you. We
Kyle
have.
ever does. So.
Because I'm not shouting at everyone. I'm only kidding. Carl's still the main one, but
Yeah.
yeah, we got Mr. Lenny Henry right there.
Oh, so that's
Sadok
what.
Burrows now.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what Bach's wife looked like. Good. Uh,
uh,
the hair is
but
really.
I think the interesting thing here that we're talking about, I think the main thing that people have been debating is Amazon have really gone for the run. I should say JD Payne and Patrick McKay have gone for
McPain.
the rundown. McPain, yep, another one, are going. They look. I don't think we're going to see them as we see the Lord of the Rings hobbits. I think Sir Lenny Henry even mentioned that they aren't the same type of people. These people who are moving from place to place. I think we'll pull up some more quotes in a second where
They're
Sir
derpy.
Lenny goes into more depths. But yeah, I think I know what Hen has to say on this. I think let's go to Lakitia first.
Oh, can please hand take this one away?
Okay. I'm not gonna dredge up too
Oh
many of
dear.
my old points. I'm just gonna say, yeah, they do. They look different in the sense that they're much more derpy. But you know,
Okay, no, I'll take it away. I've changed my mind.
yeah, you do.
For me, I love this pic much more than I thought I would. I wasn't too crazy about the Harfoot's picture in the editorial, like the cover that we're gonna be seeing on Empire magazine. But this one, for some reason, I really like. I really get very hobbity vibes. This kind of reminds me of the scene in Fellowship of the Ring where
I think I
the
know the one. Let's see.
Yeah, before that guy is beheaded by
Oh,
the
okay.
Black
Not the one I
Rider,
was thinking
he's
about.
holding up like a lamp as well, and it just
Yeah, yeah,
reminds
yeah.
me of that scene. And there are many, many scenes in Lord of the Rings Online, which also it just gives me those vibes, like with little lamps in the background and hobbits, and their expressions are like they seem very curious. And I don't know, I really, really like the vibe of this image. I'm still not a big fan of the hair ornaments, like decorations that the ladies are wearing. Um,
Hmm.
Yeah.
But which one's the one on the hand posters, Lakitia?
it's the one on the right. It's
Sarah.
yeah, Sarah
Right.
Zvangobani. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I haven't, I'm really, really sorry. But yeah, she's one. She's on the image that people have speculated maybe could be signifying that she's pregnant or something, because I think she's holding her belly. I don't think she is, but
I'm
could
starting
also
to
be.
think, yeah. The hobbits, I think to make them shorter, you have to make them a little bit more kind of squat. And so that may
Mm.
be adding to this feeling that she has a tummy, in the picture.
No,
So
it's just
yeah.
the position of the photo with her like
Yeah, she's kind of
the belly.
holding her stomach. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I would say you said that they look kind of curious. I would say
Hmm.
that they're kind of looking at someone. I would say Meteor Man were it not for the fact that they're not particularly looking up.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody, our viewer Annika Tomaria, and I'm really sorry if I mispronounced that again, said a little too raggedy and dirty for me.
Mm.
Um, and I kind of have to agree with it. One thing that came to my mind was this the whole image of them and the fact that Sir Lenny Henry mentioned that they'll be traveling in wagons, which we'll probably get to a little bit later. But this whole situation really reminded me of the Tuathoan in The Wheel of Time. It's a
Hmm.
similar kind of a little bit hippie-ish aesthetic,
Hmm.
which I'm not the biggest fan of. Um, but then again, I mean, they have to distinguish them from the hobbits in the late third age. But still, for me, I agree. This they do look a little bit too raggedy for my taste too.
Yeah, mine too. But they still do. I did see people kind of conflate the fact that they look dirty or derpy, as I called it, with this idea
Hmm.
that they look ancient. And I don't think it looks particularly ancient. Correct me if
Mhm.
I'm wrong, but I think they do still look kind of kind of Dickensian kind of thing. It doesn't look
Hmm.
very,
And
you know.
yeah, and I think we should hear it from Sir Lenny himself. We're a nomadic tribe, moving with the weather and the fertility of the crops. We have big caravans on wooden wheels, and we're very good at hiding things. I wonder what thing they might be hiding. Because humans are much bigger than us and big trouble. Henry tells Empire of the half-wit way of life, and while they're not exactly hobbits, they'll still be playing a hobbit-like role in the wider tale. We're the traditional Tolkien little guy, traditionally, and I think yeah, we got into that earlier. So that is interesting. So what do you take on this? I think Likiti already mentioned it. It does seem like there's people from Wheel of Time. There's like gypsy type of people.
Yeah, 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 they do. We
Yeah,
also
gypsy. That's the thing. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very gypsy aesthetic. One thing that my friends pointed out when we shared the link today was the fact that here it says we're a nomadic tribe moving with the weather and the fertility of the crops, which is, as far as I know, that was not the most common way the nomadic tribes actually
Yeah.
worked in the history.
Yeah.
Normally, they were, they were herding. They were herders
Yeah.
that traveled with cattle, etc. So this is, but of course, this could just be him trying to present the situation, and it's not going to be exactly
I
like I.
think
I
so.
really,
Yes.
yeah, I don't think they're going to be very. I don't know. Settled, they're going to be cultivating crops, etc. I don't think that's going to be the case. I kind of see them more in the hunter gatherer kind of capacity.
Yeah.
um but yeah,
Gypsies.
I
I think wait, before I continue, I think we apologize if we said I think apparently the GYP word is a slur, so we didn't mean it with any
Is it?
intentions like that. So yeah,
Roma, I think it
apparently it
is,
is.
right?
Yeah, I think Roma. Yeah, I think we apologize for that. we didn't know. So yeah, these are Roma type people. So sorry,
Yeah,
continue,
we
continue.
absolutely meant no offense, so sorry about that. Um, yeah, so for me, we did know that they were gonna have caravans because in one of the leaked audition tapes by Nori, she kind of mentioned something. It was our caravan that hit him, etc. Um, I didn't expect to see that for the hobbits. Maybe this early on, this sort of aesthetic, but it's gonna be interesting to see
Yeah,
where that
yeah.
takes them. And also one other thing that I wanted to point out that and Fellowship posted that earlier today on Twitter, that we made a little breakdown of the characters that we know of now and the characters that appeared in the Hands posters, and attributed them to several different races and
I
locations,
can get that
etc.
on
Oh
screen.
yeah,
One
please do.
second.
Good, good, good. Please do.
We
Yeah,
can do a little analysis of
Um,
that.
yeah.
ooh, it should be this one.
Show it to me.
If it decides to load today, then here we go.
Yes.
Oh,
Uh,
I did
There we
that.
go. 20. We did that because I had to change some of the names.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But so carry on with it.
Um, no, I think yeah, that's. I just wanted to segue into this so you guys can comment now. So okay, I just wanted to say actually that
So
there's quite a bit of
no,
sorry, just a short one, I promise. There's
it's okay for it.
quite a bit of Harfoots in the main
Surprisingly, yes.
23 characters. So yeah, like
I mean, yeah. The subplot, the Rovagnon subplot, which would be theirs because we know they're from the east,
yeah,
includes both four hobbits, which would be, let me see if I get this straight, Eleanor, Poppy, Sadok, bigger
Let's
and this
point. Let's
character,
point them out.
yeah, and the character of Sarah's, which I'm not sure who that is exactly in terms of names or
These
code
three
names or anything. Yeah, these
and that.
three and that one. And Meteor
That
Man,
one.
who's part of the same subplot. I mean,
Yep.
he's not a
mhm.
hobbit, but he's part
We
of
have
the
add.
same storyline.
Yeah, which is why he had his own category here.
Yeah, Meteor Man, and that does add up
MM.
to five, which is it's substantial. It's a lot more than Khazad Dûm, which has two. It's
Mhm.
more than Linden
Yeah.
even, which has four. That's
Actually, and
yeah,
Lyndon actually no, actually has three because what we didn't include in here, but it's the Region, which has
yeah,
Celebrimbor.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I'm counting it
that's
for the
even more.
moment under
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think as the show starts, I really think there's a big chance there won't be a region to speak of yet. So
yeah, yeah,
That's
and
interesting.
it's kind of a
Um,
byword for elves, with the exception of Arondir, of
yeah.
course.
But then
Yeah,
with Numenor, I think let me pull our
yeah,
next
we have
tweet.
the most.
So then we said this.
We put Halbrand on the Numenor just for people to
I think
because
Clarification:
I'm gonna be right
Adar
back.
was
I just
added to
need to
the
switch
tier.
the light on. Hold on.
yeah, sure.
Sure, sure. Um, Meteor Man added to Ravenion and Halbrand to Numenor. Because first time we're going to see him is out in sea, but then we're going to end up seeing him in Numenor. But I
Yeah,
think Mr.
and
Varking
and we
is
see him
not
with
here.
Numenorian armor.
But look at that. Yeah,
I'm
out of the
here.
23, we only have two dwarves.
Yeah, I'm here,
Two
and I'm
dwarves.
yeah. I don't like. I mean, dwarves are Jews. I'm
Mm,
Jewish, therefore I'm dwarf. And it's very simple. Uh,
okay.
but I do. I like dwarves, and at the same time, I don't think it's correct to look number of the characters as necessarily being directly proportionate to how important the storyline is. You get what I'm saying? The fact that there are
But
more, the fact that there are certainly Numenor maybe is slightly stretching it, but certainly I don't see the Hobbit storyline being quite as important as the Linden one at this point, and the Linden one has less characters. You know.
and even with the Linden one, we actually, in fact, we include Galadriel under that, but she won't be there for 90% of the
Yeah, but
season.
I mean, she's an agent of Linden. She's operating on, I mean, it's
Uh,
Linden not in the geographical sense. It's Linden in the storytelling sense.
Yeah,
that
but then
she
So
is
we
again,
going.
might as well
Yeah.
just do it to the might as well do it by race then instead. That makes
It's
much
just
more sense.
nomenclature. I think
Than,
everybody gets the point.
okay,
Villain, Meteor Man. I love these
villain.
categories. Uh, I love these categories though. They're funny. And
And I
again,
think, of
elves.
course,
Yeah,
people are mentioning Tarplanta and Durin, but thing is, only one of the Durins is actually this is
yeah.
Durin.
These
I think is it
are
the fourth,
yeah.
and then he's doing the third. Then Tarplanta is not there. So so I think that is
some
was so. It's interesting to. Sorry,
no,
go ahead,
something
Liv.
really funny was happening with some
Oh
noises.
yeah, I wasn't the only one hearing it.
No,
Thank God.
it wasn't just in
Uh,
your head, but it's fine now. So I think it's been
yeah,
solved.
it is. Yeah.
Okay, then, and then I think the next thing I want to try and get is it this article? No, you've gone through that one.
Yeah, but yeah,
Um,
characters like because you were the buzz was kind of going over your voice fellowship, but characters like doing Tau Palenti or many of them are not very necessarily very major characters, at least in terms
Hmm.
of screen time, certainly. So
mhm.
they're not counted among these 23, which are presumably the major characters.
So we spoke about this at the start, but let's go over it again. We even know that our final shot of the last episode is going to be paying teasers to Empire. The rights that Amazon bought were for a 50-hour show. They know from the beginning that was the size of the canvas. This was a big story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. There are things in the first season that don't pay off until season 5.
Good.
And I think I don't want to make comparisons to Game of Thrones all the time, but I think one of the interesting things that I think people saw when they mentioned that is maybe is this a little little dig at Game of Thrones or something because
Yeah,
I don't think
is
it is.
they're making it sound like they are
yeah,
making it sound like that,
I think
but even in the article, look, they are being quite obvious. Um, that they have a structure throughout. They know where they want to, the beginning, middle, and end. I think they even say this. Yeah, the big story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. So they don't want fans to worry that this is a factor. And again, also thank you, Steve, for the for full £5
thank you.
donation. Said any trailer update off topic. I know, but we of course I think with trailer update we don't have a day. It could be next this week, could be next week, could be the next few weeks, but it is quite interesting that marketing has now started up. So hopefully that gives you some confidence. And I know some people are talking about the NBA finals of fourth round. That could be a possibility as well. Who knows? I think
That's a
Amazon
possibility
will
that's
make an
gonna keep us
announcement.
awake.
Yes.
Yeah, we're very
Yeah.
irresponsible like that. I
Mm-hmm.
do think that them specifically mentioning they have the ending, like the end line inside, they know where they're going. I do think this is a sort of trying to soothe the fears of the fandom at
Yeah.
large and the audiences
Yes.
at large. I think the Game of Thrones has cast a very, very large shadow, both in a good way and in a bad way. So I think they're very, very aware of the audiences being afraid that this is going to go downhill as it nears the
Uh,
end. And I think they just want to ensure everybody knows that they have the whole thing, parceled out. They know they have everything. I'm sure they've had all this stuff made when they were pitching the show in the first place, but now even more so. I'm pretty sure that they have everything planned out, mapped out, and they know for sure where they're going.
yeah, the whole this is or isn't planned from the beginning rhetoric is not a new one. Like not just Game of Thrones was criticized for it, Star Wars very recently was criticized for it. That's though different because in a movie series it's very normal to not plan out the series, whereas in a
Mhm.
TV series, I was actually going to say it's very, par for the course. And Game of Thrones, I
Yeah.
know that the showrunners did say that they knew what Martin's end point that he was going for was. I don't think lack of planning was necessarily the issue there. Still, it's not a bad thing to know where you're going. That's certainly not a bad thing. And I'm much more taken with this suggestion of there are things, Fellowship,
Bad Fellowship, bad.
Yeah, there are things in the first season that don't pay off until season 5 because that's good. That would indicate that going away from it being feeling too anthological.
Hmm.
You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Whereby yeah, because I really don't want it to be like the seasons are like kind of vignettes, whereas like say season 2 is the forging of the rings and season 3 is the war of Sauron and the elves and season 4 is
Hmm.
is the fall of, like if it's like that and they're like really standalone chapters. I think it can, you want to feel like they're episodes in a book, rather than being a couple of separate books.
Hmm.
um so that's very reassuring to me, more so than we have everything planned. And that too, like we have everything planned, I think is very important to say. They don't have like every single, the blocking of every shot or every line of dialogue. They have like the idea of where the plot is going, which is fine. It's I'm saying just don't it's very important for people not to take the we have, everything too
Hmm.
far. Yeah.
Okay, I think yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
just want to address
And
something that appeared in the chat, and Nefelibara Nation said, if it feels strange to me because it feels like Celebrimbor and Numenor seem to be on the back burner and seem to be more
Yeah,
important later on, but also Galadriel and Numenor is a major plot line. Yeah, I think, and I think we're probably in agreement here on this panel that this is a marketing strategy. Um, I think they
mm-hmm.
might be wanting to show us the characters that we know very well first, and obviously some unknown characters as well. And they're,
Half unknown.
yeah, half, yeah, like I mean Bronwyn and Theo and stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I
yeah,
think they're saving Numenor for the big reveal. Whether that's going to
yeah.
be in the upcoming Empire editorial, I don't think that's the case. I think they're going to be saving it for one of the future trailers.
I agree.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think
so
what
yeah.
we have seen elves with a dash of Numenor, we'll see next
Mhm.
Numenor with a dash of elves, the dash in case being hopefully Celebrimbor. So
Okay.
yeah.
We
Uh,
did report that his storyline doesn't start till episode 4, really, anyway. So
Yeah,
maybe
but
that's another.
yeah, but still.
Yeah.
but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean he won't be appearing, of course, like
Yeah,
we
that's
also
yeah,
mentioned.
that's what my yeah meant. Uh
I would actually think that I don't, given that we've been seeing little tidbits from the magazine editorial now that it's going to be dropping on this Thursday. I wouldn't be too surprised if this next trailer, if it drops sometime in the next couple of weeks, is still focused primarily on Middle Earth,
I agree.
and they save Numenor till like the, I don't know if we're getting the Comic Con trailer or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if they save Numenor till then.
I agree.
So if they, because now that through this, before the first trailer, we've been seeing in the magazine editorial images of characters who later on appeared in the trailer itself.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of suspecting this is going to be the case here as
yeah,
well.
yeah, I agree. I think it will be the coverage will be complementary to the trailer.
Hmm.
Yeah. I
And
also
so
think
far,
yeah.
we've seen in these images that we've got in the last couple of days, we've basically seen characters or locations we've seen before. Sarah and Thucydides characters are new. We haven't seen them before on one of the hand posters, like we said earlier. But still, it's the
We've seen the
Harfoots. We've
storyline.
seen
Yeah.
we've seen those before. So
Yeah.
I think people who are looking forward to seeing more of Numenor and its characters, I think it's possible that we may be waiting for a while longer yet.
I agree.
And I'm sorry about that, and I hope that's not the case, but I think that might be their strategy.
I think so, yes. I do want to circle back to one quick comment
Mhm.
that they made, just a little disclaimer almost, about it being 50 hours, I believe.
Mhm.
They've said it before, I think, and I think it's important not to get a little bit too literal with it because it's like a draw size. It's not like if it's 46.7 hours, it will like nobody at Amazon is gonna bat an eye, It's still within the 50-hour kind of ballpark. Or if
Yeah.
it's 52 hours, like it,
Okay.
I
Can
mean
you
Okay.
can
And
yeah.
can you scroll up, please, to where they say where they mention the 50
Yeah.
hours?
because I'm saying it's not just, it's very easy to kind of, oh, it's 50 hours, so let's divide by
Mhm.
episodes of like 50 minutes and see how
Okay,
much we get. It's not like that, obviously.
I want to point out what it says in the article because here it just says the rights that Amazon bought were for a 50-hour show. This does not mean this is going to be a 50-hour show, but this was a part of the package. So I don't think necessarily, like Ken said, of course, this is the details matter in such cases, and I don't think this is the actual final runtime. But also, I just want to say that like they probably bought okay, so we can make up to 50 hours of this. I very much doubt that the rights in and of itself would limit them exactly how many minutes there have to be for the
No, it's a
show.
ballpark, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
ballpark somewhere between 40 and 50. I would say that is what we can be
Yeah.
looking at here.
Yeah, and okay, so now moving on to this part here. In his letters, particularly in one to his publisher, Tolkien talked about wanting to leave behind a mythology that's left scope for other minds and hands. Wielding the tools of paint, music, and drama, we're doing what Tolkien wanted, as long as we felt like every invention of ours was true to his essence. We knew we were on the right track.
This is a more
And I think
philosophical point, yeah.
Yeah, I think we can get into a large discussion about that at another time.
I
Yeah, I
just
agree.
yeah,
Um,
I just have to say that I really don't like how they keep bringing that up. That quote
yeah,
is taken a little bit out of context,
A little bit,
and
yes.
I'm not a fan that
yeah,
I know why they're doing it. It's pretty clear, and I understand why they're doing it, but I think it's a little bit out of context. So I kind of wish they wouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
yeah. And the next bit as well, the pressure would drive us insane if we didn't feel like there was a story here that didn't come from us.
Mhm.
It comes from a bigger place. Came from Tolkien, and we're just the stewards of it. We trust those ideas so deeply because they're not ours. We're custodians at best. So they're calling themselves the stewards of the
custodians, yeah.
Tolkien fandom, custodians. So that is very interesting. But we have got more to go through as well. So, because again, Empire have been recently trying to be releasing a few things each day.
I like
So
this dripping more so than Vanity Fair just dumping an article. I like
yeah,
this.
I think Amazon have realized, or hopefully that doing that much all in one go was a bit,
Yeah, yeah.
it
You
was a lot
remember?
to
I think
take.
we all do. The way it was just like
Yeah.
they're trying to keep up and soaking it all
What?
in was very difficult.
We have
This
an angry
year.
penguin in the chat,
Yep.
by the way, who is
Not
complaining that he
yeah.
cannot get in. The
Not
way is
not
shut. Penguin, you're
Oh
absolutely
no.
very, very, very welcome to join us. Please come in.
yeah.
Well, he has to click the link in
Yeah, that
order
is
to
quite a
come in.
challenge. That
So
is quite a challenge for little penguins with their, tiny wings. And yes, I
He
just did
also
that.
has
I
he
really did
also
that.
he also has a beak though. It's very easy to press stuff with a beak, especially when it goes
Well,
not.
okay, okay. I'll try get Penguin in while you guys talk about this because this got a bit misinterpreted a bit, saying,
okay.
"But we're admirers from afar. That's it. Doesn't try to compete with him."
Oh, yeah, yeah. So that got very, very controversial online, which of course, stuff is bound to happen
Yeah.
that way. Um, as far as I'm concerned, I think this is them just trying to make sure everybody understands that they're not doing exactly the same thing or they're not trying to copy Peter Jackson. And I also think they're trying
Okay.
to pay their respects to the previous trilogy or trilogies. As far as I'm concerned, this is a very diplomatic statement, and I don't see anything wrong with it. And I don't quite understand why so much outrage, except for the fact that people like to be outraged in general.
I think
That's the
from
way we are.
memory, yeah, I think from memory, like it was totally misrepresented in
Mhm.
some places online. Like it was like construed as meaning something that I don't think it does. I can't remember how it was exactly.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is like that's totally fine. This idea that they're doing something different in a way. Certainly the story is very different. So, you know.
Penguin said in the chat, I've heard it both ways. I misread that. I thought it said something different. Let's move on.
Let's move
Uh,
on. Um, let's move on.
um,
So yeah, I think that's the right approach in a way, like not like many artists instead of doing like they feel more comfortable doing something different because then they don't have to
mhm,
compete because they're doing
yeah.
their own thing in their own like by their own standards.
Mhm,
There is something to be said for that.
yeah. I don't know. And yeah, the next one is the next bit that he said was you can psych yourself out in keeping up with the Joneses, but one of the main mantras of this was go back to the source material. What would Tolkien do? Of course, this last bit was again very controversial because obviously nobody can know what Tolkien would do. But I think this again just means that they're trying to put
It's very
themselves.
cliche.
It's very
It's a little bit.
cliche.
You know who said
Yeah.
that before? That would be funny.
Who?
Who like take a guess?
Um.
Um,
It's not too out there, like it's not Peter
Okay.
Jackson though.
Guillermo del Toro.
No, no, before.
No, tell us
Ralph
the answer.
Ralph Bakshi would say that often.
Okay.
What would Tolkien do,
Yeah.
or that sort of thing. It's to some extent a platitude or kind of like
Yeah.
pretense or
Yeah.
something, but it's it's not something to make a big deal of. I don't think.
Yeah.
Um,
I
Mm-mm.
agree. I don't think
But
they actually mean that they know what Tolkien would be thinking, because no matter how many letters you read,
yeah,
you can obviously never know. But I think this just means that they're trying to put themselves,
kind of
trying to
yeah,
look at the world building at large and just trying to see what would
yeah,
fit in with the story, what would fit in with the characters, which I don't think is such a horrible thing. So,
yeah.
yeah.
hmm But next up, we
Ah,
have our good friend the troll,
look
and
at
I've
that.
zoomed in right on his head. So
So gorgeous.
we would debate. Indeed, more gorgeous than before as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Yeah.
interesting thing. What have Amazon done since the trailer and now? I think that's the thing we should just talk about, and also 'cause people have been asking as well. So yeah, what do you guys think?
They've shaded him slightly differently, added more skin texture, that sort of thing. Looks good. It looks good on the rendering level, certainly.
Mhm.
Before
Also,
I. Mhm. Yeah, I was just going to say
I
the
was
exact
saying
same thing that you're going to say, so go ahead.
I was saying also make sure to like and subscribe as well. So yeah, continue. Click it too.
No, that was the main thing I was gonna say. uh, but yeah, anyway,
Mm.
I'm really happy that we got this image. So it's a lot of people said that in the trailer the troll didn't exactly convince them. I think here he or it or whatever looks absolutely amazing. All those lines that you can see, you may or may not like the design, of course.
Yeah, that's different, yeah.
Yeah, I still do. I like the design. I would wish, and I the way I imagined trolls back when I was reading the books was a little bit more humanoid, and this is very like typical monster, very animalistic or I don't know, alien like.
Yes.
But I absolutely can't fault them for the way it's rendered. I think it looks stunning. I will
I
have to
thought it
see it
looked fine
in.
in the trailer, though, I
I
must
thought so
say.
too. Yeah, I
But yeah.
didn't think that wasn't the CGI that bothered me the most, or the at any rate the visual.
Yeah,
um
yeah.
yeah,
It's
so.
just that without the motion blur to some extent as well, you can just focus on the details. But yeah, but they also rendered it more. I think that's
Mhm,
obvious.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah, and again, that's all to say to address the render of the effect more so than necessarily the design. And I will
Mhm,
say that sometimes those things are very difficult to distinguish because if the design looks very unnatural to you, you're just as likely to hang that on to the quality of the CGI. So
mhm,
yeah, it's the
Mm.
I'm saying they did more rendering on his skin, but at the same time, in the trailer, it seemed like he had a cloudy eye, doesn't he?
hmm.
Whereas in this, both
I
eyes
will. You know what
are
I'm going to do?
what?
Do you know what I'm going to do? You continue, and I'm going to get the trailer one on screen, and we can do a quick comparison.
Oh,
Yeah, but
perfect.
So
will
yeah,
it
we'll
be
get up. Just give me a
absolutely the
second. But
same
yeah, carry
frame
on. You're
though?
saying?
I was saying just in the trailer, he seemed to have a cloudy eye to the
Mm.
right, whereas here the replies are very much,
Mojo Dojo in the chat says everybody's a
Well,
CGI
okay.
expert these days. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
really, by the
Okay.
way, not at all. I'm
So
just saying it looks better.
yeah. Okay. So this is the first trailer. This is from the new one that was released.
Yeah.
Now what we're going to do is a quick switcheroonie, and we are going to get this one
Who's Rooney?
up now. There's a switcheroonie. So this is the one from. Can you see a difference?
Yeah, but it's also not exactly the same frame. So the thing that I said is a cloudy eye could be like those kinds of membranes that reptiles have. That, like he's just blinking, like if it was really the same frame, maybe it would be a better cause for comparison. Because the thing that I'm trying to get is, did they redo the troll, which would explain why he has different eyes? Or is it just that we catch him kind of sort of blinking? And the other shot is the same except
Hmm.
just a bit more kind of rendered. You know what I'm getting? What I'm Yeah.
People are having lots of fun in our comments today. I absolutely love to see that. So.
Yeah. So yeah, just
Oh, we have a
eh.
never mind.
Mm.
Kyle sent us the comparison of both two images. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, where? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see.
So if we could put that on screen, that would be absolutely amazing.
Oh, I've been muted again.
Oh.
But I was having a nice conversation to myself. Okay, I'll get that up on screen right now. Talk about Lenny Henry in the meantime.
Yeah, it is. By the way, it does seem like in the teaser his eye was cloudy or something, and in this it isn't, because it does look like the very same frame, and it's just it doesn't.
Okay.
It's different, yeah. So they didn't
Hmm.
just add more rendering to it; they redid it to some extent.
Yeah.
So this, I think, interestingly, here is his head. Here, look at all the lines, jagged face, whatever. Here, it looks. I think there's a little bit less lines on the top, unless it's maybe because due to the how
He had
rendered or
some
whatever it is.
Botox, you know. Don't blame the poor troll.
Yeah, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do when you're stuck in the freezing cold? Like, there's not much to do, is there?
And I
Except
do think this is
pruning.
the same place. This is the same place where Galadriel is at the front of her cover
Yes,
as
it
well.
is. It looks
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely the same. I wonder. It
Yeah, I
looks
think
very.
so.
It looks very Orthanc, really, kind of in a way, like very kind of
Autumnal.
yeah, very kind of obsidian. I mean, like no, I was thinking more Orthanc, like very obsidian and stuff. And like you wonder if it's like man-made or a cave.
Mm-hmm.
If it is
Mm-hmm.
man-made, it isn't like man-made in a way. Like it's not the most naturalistic of environments necessarily, so it's hard to say.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think we have. I think people can mostly agree that it does indeed look better now. But
Yeah.
I just think that to round off, we need to go back to. Is it this one? We'll go to this one. Let's pray that's the right one. Oh, look at that! What a good day today. Um, it is. It is Mr. Ishmael say Cruz Cordova, who is a Ronde, looking out, probably just trying to defend his new family and love interest of Bronwyn and his what's his face? No, shouldn't say that. And
Theo.
his a step, no, not step, yeah,
Stepson, exactly,
stepson.
but
Stepson.
yeah, sure, let's go with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't know
Well,
if they're quite, on that level
yeah.
yet.
Yeah, I don't think
Mm.
they are,
I,
by the way. I would be
yeah.
surprised.
Um,
And
are mhm.
I was say, where do you guys want me to zoom into? We can zoom into there.
I just point out that our poll is finished. The question was, which are we more excited for, Celebrimbor or Numenorians? And I'm really proud of our crowd because they chose correctly. Celebrimbor won with 54%.
Ah, not a big
So
win.
yes,
I'll
but it's
take
a
it
win.
still.
It's a win nonetheless. So yeah,
I'll
yeah.
take it. Good, good.
He should be the main character of the show. To
Yes,
Oh,
be fair,
yes,
totally, totally,
absolutely.
totally.
yeah, that's probably the reason why.
Mm.
I mean, he isn't, but
Um,
oh well. I will say, I
yeah.
remember people talking, you were talking about where to zoom in this shot. People were talking about there being a lake to the opposite side of the mountains. Am I the only one
Oh,
who's
so
not
I know
seeing it?
people.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
seeing it. People are
I
saying,
think I see it. Just like before the final little two hills back in out in the
Yeah,
distance.
like,
To the right
yeah,
from here?
these ones
No,
here,
no, to
yeah.
the right. I think just here?
here,
No, no, that's okay. That I can see that there's like water there.
Yeah. No.
But people were like
water.
saying like there's
Where
mountains
you
to
have your
one side of
mouse,
the
just a
picture.
little.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Oh,
Navigate me.
okay. No, I was watching on the live stream anyway. Okay, just to the right of the the picture as you have it zoomed here. Just on the right. Just yeah, this little bit before the two
A
little
bit more.
hills. But that's more like
Okay,
No,
so
that
swamps maybe,
here,
yeah.
or just
yeah,
roads.
swamp.
That's more
I
like
thought.
a river delta type of thing. That's not what
Mm,
I was getting.
ooh,
I was thinking,
people were saying it's Ithilien and then Mordor to the right.
oh, could
Yeah.
be,
Mm,
could be. Who's
mm,
to say?
yeah,
Yeah, that
But
could
I
be.
think people were
and
talking about like that completely to the opposite side
here.
of the mountain. There would be a body of water, and I'm not sure that I'm seeing it.
Oh, is he talking about like
No, no,
I?
no.
I
The
think that's more
opposite
land.
side. That's
Okay, the
land,
opposite. We'll go
Sterling.
to the opposite side.
The
Yeah,
opposite
we go
of the
here.
mountain, so the left. Yeah, I don't see a body of
There.
water particularly.
I don't see
It
water.
doesn't
Does anybody in
see.
chat see
Yeah,
water?
right.
Is this the case of somebody
White
consuming too
mountains.
much mushrooms again and seeing things where
Yeah.
there are none?
Yeah, I don't think,
Indeed.
but because I think it is meaningful if Tir Harad is shoreside or not. You see, and it
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be.
Mm.
It gives me the impression of a kind of landlocked place. I don't know.
Same. Same, and even with all the vegetation and everything, it doesn't
Oh my
seem.
god. The melon head said, I think this is the tower where Dumbledore was eventually killed.
I
It-
have a tower like that very
yeah.
near. Yeah.
Oh, Aniket says, Lakitia, what do your elven eyes see?
Oh,
Ah,
not much. But for sure I can tell you that I would absolutely not mind. Not I wouldn't mind being atop that tower with Arondir. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it
looks
out there.
cold.
Okay,
Well, he's got a cloak.
let's go to him.
Yeah, but
Let's go to him. Then.
yeah, that way,
There's the man. Look.
that
Mm-hmm.
much up.
And I think, Ken, I was thinking, um, do you think that maybe this tower thingy could be something else in the Third Age, maybe relating to Mordor? Do you
We were
think?
talking about it before, which is that in my nightmares this becomes Minas Morgul or Barad-dûr or something, and I don't like it, and I don't want it to be it.
Mm,
I don't really think it is, by the way. I'd be surprised, but yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the whole idea, by the way. We didn't really get into it, but the idea of
mhm,
before door,
Hmm.
I don't
mhm,
like it. Just like I don't like Meteor Man because it's very kind of overwritten. Like it
mhm,
was before door, and then it became more like we. I don't need it in my show. I
mhm.
don't need it.
Indeed. And Mojo Dojo says the river looks like Anduin in Ithilien. Look at the maps. Well, let's zoom in on the river. Let's see. So it starts here. Then this is basically the river. That
Yeah, I would say it's a little
wouldn't be
bit small,
surprised.
but we're quite far away, so who's to say, really?
Can we tell which way is it's flowing?
Ooh, wow.
Because my initial thought is that because we're like it's the tower and there's some hills just underneath the tower as well, so I kind of anticipated it flowing from the tower outwards because the mountains are also, it's the valley is opening up, so I would be really surprised if the river
Uh,
was flowing in. So I think it's flowing
mm,
out.
uh,
interesting. And another interesting thing I've seen, which is actually I was just like, oh my god.
Tower of Joy.
Steve, no, Big Steve in chat has said the tower, when viewed from above, would look like an eight-pointed star. This is very look.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I mean,
Red,
true.
red.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, okay. They're gonna go negative 10 gonna come in again.
No, no, I
Look,
mean, sure. Like, yeah.
it would be. That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Otaku Senpai said it couldn't be the top of Orthanc. I would be very
No,
much
no, no,
surprised
no.
if it were. But yeah, it's a little bit early for that as well, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
structure is not quite the same, and the material. But yeah, that would be fun
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's
And yeah,
Orthanc. I think they may be playing up a little bit, kind of like it's like the Orthanc of the show. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it's like a tower. People like towers. Uh,
yeah, and I think
the
again,
requisite
really
big
interesting
tower.
if it is an eight-pointed star. That'd be nice because didn't Gilgalad have one? I don't remember on this poster.
I think Galadriel
I'm
has
not
on her
don't remember.
costume, doesn't she?
Glad was it Glad?
Like on her
Okay. Anyways, that's
armor.
beside the point. Yeah.
The
hmm
White Council, by the way, has
But
it on the table. So
yeah. And again, I think what I want to do is give a quick clarity. Be no. Okay. So let's actually go back to this tower. Someone said, could it be like a massive tree? So what I believe, and I think is the case, is from what we've heard, is that this is not on a hill, but it is not like grass below it. It is not detached or going from the ground. It's not an outpost in the middle of nowhere. It is attached to a fort slash castle, which is Tir Harad. Well, maybe I think it's like a wall. It's like a circular wall that goes round, which has all the villages and stuff inside. So
I
that's what I'm
I yeah,
thinking this might
I
be,
would have
and I think
assumed.
that is, and I think that is the reason why there's no physical way to climb up this tower from the outside, but from the inside, if this is attached to a castle wall or to a loaming wall, you could be able to go from the inside and go up down
Mhm.
the middle and probably come up there.
Yeah.
And I think Melon Heads asked, "Ooh, what's that box?" And I think is that box maybe
I think it's a hatch.
blocking
We
an
We
talked
kind of
about it.
entranceway? Yeah,
Yeah,
a
we kind of
hatch.
thought
That's
it
a
was the
hatch to get
hatch
into.
with a potential
Yeah.
stairway. You see, that's what you get for not being with us from the beginning, Melonhead. I mean,
And also fellowship getting for being muted. But yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
Uh,
can I
Um,
just say huge shout out to Melonheads? If anybody by any chance has not checked out their channel yet, please do that as soon as possible, right after this stream is finished, because they're absolutely amazing, and we're looking forward to seeing you back on our channel one day as well.
but yeah,
agreed.
yeah.
Um, um, Now let's go back to this one. So I think a lot of reason why people are here is for this and for this explanation. We did it at the start, and I think we'll go together. I might have missed some things out. So yeah, a lot of people were laughing. Actually, let's laugh at one of them because I like laughing at Sean Gunner whenever I get the opportunity. So joking, Sean Gunner, we're good friends. But then I think anyway, it's good to see what um from this tab. And if you want to hear an alternate, um, trying to decipher where Misty Mountain looks on the route to the or along the Gladden, it's like clear agricultural area. So I'm thinking the former. And
The Gladden.
so yeah, one other thing, but I think in reality, as we mentioned earlier, is that this is Aronde Ishmael Cruz Cordova. On this tower is situated in Tir Harad, and I believe it is part of a much larger castle slash fort, and he's there protecting his new family of Bronwyn and Thea, who also has a sword. Um, Anakin said, Fellowship's internet connection is from the second age. Fair enough. Yes, it's no, you should see my tabs. I've got like 22 tabs open right now, but
Oh,
but
I try not
I
to.
think well I have to get everything up, so I
Yeah, yeah,
kind of have to
I know why you
um
get that. Yeah.
yeah. So Arondin he said this is Ter Harad, and I think people wanted this to be a region, didn't they? People want this to be Austin Hill. People thinking
Did
maybe is
they?
this,
I,
potentially Lynn.
I,
Yeah, I
I
think so.
I actually think it's a little bit kind of crude looking to be like in Linden or Austin Evil. You get what
Um,
I'm saying?
I when I first saw this image, my first gut reaction was, "Oh my gosh, I'm finally seeing a region." And
Yeah,
if
I
this
get
were
that.
a region, I would be happy from what we're seeing. And I do think that the architecture, like we pointed out earlier, does seem quite elven. And some people also pointed out in several, like I think in our Discord and possibly also on Reddit, that there's like the texture that looks a little bit like fish scale as well, which made people
Hmm.
believe that it could be Numenorean as well. Um, but yeah,
Yep.
I think it looks quite good actually, the tower.
No, it looks
Yeah.
good. I'm just saying for
Mm-hmm.
specifically, I think the kind of thing they're going to with Linden, with the very kind of pre-Raphaelite kind of look of Linden. I'm assuming Austin Evil would be kind of similar. This less the top of the tower, but certainly the body of the tower itself looks a bit crude to be, high
Mm-hmm.
elf
And
stuff
yeah, and so I'm gonna quickly mention two
like
things from the chat.
bricks.
Firstly, Nephilibeta Nation said, so this is obviously the castle where the big battle takes place, right? Done with explosions and when Miriel is blinded. I
Oh,
would
I
not
like
be surprised.
explosions.
I would not be surprised because we released that earlier last year now.
I like
Um,
explosions. Good.
I think this is the same
Of
place,
course you do.
and a Toku Senpai said issue is that we don't know where Tirahad is located.
Yeah, we don't.
Nikita,
Not
do you want to tell
really.
the irony? Well, we kind of do. And Nikita, do you want to tell the irony of this?
Do I? Sorry, I don't know what you mean. Can you just go ahead?
Yeah.
You
Okay,
got,
fine. The
I read,
second aid show yesterday.
I was reading the comments, but yeah, we've already, yeah, we chatted about the location where it could be. So you can go ahead.
No, I'm
Yeah. A
saying
lot.
around this, around no, around the second aid show yesterday. Saying the irony around that because you were there.
Okay, no, let's just move on. Sorry, I'm a little
Okay,
bit
so
lost.
well, the
Yeah, I'm not
Okay,
sure
the
what you're
irony
getting
is
at
that
either.
okay then. So I took a senpai and everyone asking the issues that we don't know where Tirad is located. Well, yesterday a second aid show was recorded where where the placed we did locate Tirad, and we're actually saving this for a couple of weeks down the line. But now Amazon releases the next day, so I think we're gonna have to release that one soon. So we did have a map during the release, and we actually for that video, and we've circled where we think it is, and we have some more updates around that area. So yeah,
Okay,
we
yeah.
believe we can pinpoint where Tirahad is in the map. So that'll probably have to be either next week's or the week after.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
is there COF on Friday? There should be. Yes, there will be. And Chris says, Chris Beasy, hello, my friend. I hope we see Ents come to this tower. Well, I think it's been
Wow.
quite
Do you
interesting
really
with
hate
Ents
this
and
tower?
towers.
I mean, it looks like a good
Yeah,
tower. It
I'm
looks like
saying,
a nice valley. Why do you want
yeah,
to see it destroyed? Why?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It never ends well.
I
So,
will say you said it's part of a fortress, which totally makes sense. I'm assuming the fortress is more like the Acropolis to Tir Harad, because Tir Harad itself, we've seen like little pics of it, and we've seen pictures of what looks like the set, this place on a farm in New Zealand. Doesn't look terribly like a kind of fortified place. I'm assuming there's like a
Mm.
well, there
castle
is a like
right
a
near it. And like when there's trouble, the villagers run into the thing,
yeah,
like an
well, yeah,
acropolis, yeah, like a stronghold in the
or
Theodore, yeah,
maybe I think a bit like Helm's Deep kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
that sort
Maybe
of
this
thing. Yeah,
is
that's actually a very good example. They may be playing up that similarity. Again, not in a
yeah.
derivative way, just in the requisite big fortress that people go to when shit happens.
Wow.
Very well said. And I think we are just about. I think unless anybody has anything to add, I think we are done. Unless there was
Yeah,
anything.
well, I just want to say that I'm really, really excited that all this is going on, that we're seeing all this material. Um, I think from what we've seen so far, the and I've seen people point out that as well, the architectural design seems really nice. It looks like a lot of attention has gone into details. People are comparing it very positively against The Wheel of Time and The Witcher, which I absolutely like. And I also agree with, I'm like I mentioned earlier, I'm not 100% sure I like all of their design choices, or maybe not design, but just
Shot design, you mean?
shot design, the visual aesthetic. Some things are not exactly what my preferences would be. um but yeah, I'm really happy that we're finally getting to see some landscapes. I hope to see much more landscapes very soon, like Eregion. Thank you. But
Listen
yeah,
to the woman.
but I also think that everybody, like my body, is absolutely ready to see some Numenorians. So please show us Numenorians, and I'm absolutely ready to see Celebrimbor. So please, Amazon, if you're listening, and I'm absolutely sure you're listening,
Yeah,
please.
listen to the woman, please. Please.
Show us Celebrimbor. We want some Celebrimbor, Celebaby. Just, I need to see it. Him.
You say kill a baby, and remember that old showrunner was gonna give Celebrimbor a baby. Very
All right,
interesting
Mm.
indeed.
yeah. Yeah, he was gonna give him a
Yeah,
boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
funny. And a hobbit
yeah,
friend, I believe. Like he would have a hobbit buddy.
Oh.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I do
yeah.
like I agree. I like the landscape a lot actually. I think the
Mm.
landscape is
Let's zoom
very,
in
very
again.
appealing.
Ooh,
I like it. Looks good.
landscape, beautiful,
Yeah,
very
very
beautiful.
pretty and very big, which I like. I like there's a line in
Well, well.
there's a li- there's a line in Titanic.
That's what
There's
he
a there's
said.
a there's a great line in
Yeah.
Titanic about men and liking big stuff. But yeah, we
Yeah,
we
that
all
is
like.
true, and that's particularly a funny thing to mention in when we're looking at an image of a very phallic-looking tower. But you do
Oh,
you,
thank
Han.
you. I didn't
You do
think
Mhm.
you.
of that. Now I can't unsee it.
Mhm. And Viking says she wants to see Durin. She said, "I'll let Amazon know. We will." I
I would
think
love
yeah, I
to
think
see
that's what
Durin
Nikiti had said.
third, by the way, but he's not sadly not going to be as central to the narrative as.
Yeah, because there's
Yeah.
too many dwarves as it is anyway. So who
Oh
wants to see
Well,
more?
actually,
no.
the least. The to be fair, the race that's gone over the worst is the dwarves by the look of it.
Christiane Fiorito said, "What about Austin Ethel?" Yes, absolutely. We want to see Eregion, all of it. I'm a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
worried, and I think we've mentioned that on previous streams. I'm a little bit worried that Austin Ethel is not going to be called Austin Ethel, but Eregion, because that's the name that appeared in one of the articles, which could, of course, just be an editorial thing. Possibly the journalist mishearing or misunderstanding a little bit, but for just it's easier to say Eregion than Austin Ethel, so I hope we still get both terms, one for the town and one for the region, but who knows?
Yeah.
Indeed. But thank you, Lakitia,
Yep.
for coming on and
Thanks.
doing
Thank you so
this.
much for having me. This is such an exciting period. So, yay.
And thank you, Hen.
Yeah, I think it's also very exciting. I've been more positive than usual today, so I'm in a good mood. Uh,
Can we just give a shout
Mm.
out to in our chat? Kirdan the Shillwright has appeared, and he's asking, "What about Kirdan?" So yeah, we haven't seen Kirdan yet either. I think that's a little bit overdue as well. We've seen Gil-galad, we've seen
Mhm.
Galadriel, we've seen Elrond. So here's hoping that whenever the next trailer drops, that it's gonna give us our first glimpse of Kirdan. So yeah,
Indeed. But I also want to thank everyone in chat as well. You guys have been, I think, as Lakita said earlier, it's been quite funny today
yes.
reading that. So yes, thank you to everyone who's tuned in as well. Really appreciate it. But I think until the next time,
Aw.
goodbye.
Thank you, Barking. Bye.
I